Dagon. And H.P. Lovecraft is by game. Wait, give me a second. There we go. That should be better. I hope it is not too loud. So, okay. Let's do this. Dagon by H.P. Lovecraft. Let's check about the options. So we are going to do it. I know about H.P. Lovecraft. I haven't even read about it. I know about Cthulhu. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. But I know that this is a horror type of thing. So, oh my god, my soul. Let's see. Let's see. The developer said that it was going to be like a 30-minute long, but I don't know how long it's going to actually be, depending on how we do. So let's get right on it, shall we? Is anything happening? Okay, there we go. Dagon is a faithful interactive adaptation of H.P. Lovecraft's work, focused on story and atmosphere. You will not find difficult choices. Thank you. Action sequence or inventory management here, and movement is limited to progressing through locations along with the plot. Okay, okay. So it's more like an interactive story. Yeah. Okay.
I am writing this under an appreciable mental strain, since by tonight I shall be no more.
Ooh. A voice acting. Okay, I'm a little bit lost, but let's check. Okay. During the game, you will encounter interactive elements. Some of them will allow you to continue your journey. Others will reveal interesting facts about the original short story, its historical background, and the author. Thank you, because I know nothing and I do want to know more about it. Let's see, with a circle or with a question mark. Okay, got it memorized. Some of the trivia is hidden. In order to find these secrets, focus your eyes and look for the elder signs. Okay, so yes, with the right click, you can also access all the found facts later. They will be available in the main menu. Okay, yes. Let's get right into it. See, there we go. Okay. Ghost orbs. No, wait, we're wrong game. Okay, we have this soon. Okay, I see. Lovecraft's letters. As to letters, my case is peculiar. I write such things exactly as easily and as rapidly as I would utter the same topics in conversation. Indeed, literary obsession is with me largely replacing conversations as my condition of nervous frustration becomes more and more acute. I cannot bear to talk much now, and I'm becoming as silent as the spectator himself. My loquacity stands itself on paper. Whoa, that's quite a lot of words. Complicated words to understand. H.P. Lovecraft to Reinhard Kleiner, December 23rd, 1917. Throughout his life, Lovecraft penned around 10,000 letters to his friends and fans, out of which about 10% survive to this day. Oh! If it was 10%, does that mean that only 10,000 letters survive? But his tendency to endless correspondence was relatively late growth. Okay. In youth, I scarcely did any letter writing. Thinking anybody for a present was so much of an ordeal that I would rather have written a 259 pastoral or a 20-page treatise on the ring of Saturn. Selected letters from 1929 and 1931. H.P. Lovecraft. Lovecraft will often skip meals for postage. Okay, you shouldn't do that. Collections of his correspondence have been published in various books, and selected letters can be found online. Some readers consider them his most important legacy. I mean, yeah, because it is the author himself speaking through a letter. So, yeah, I will see. I will blame his most important legacy, not just the book. Okay, do we have anything else? Oh, it's just that the letters. Afghanistan.
Penniless, and at the end of my supply of the drug which alone makes life endurable, I can bear the torture no longer, and shall cast myself from this garret window into the squalid street below. Do not think from my slavery to morphine that I am a weakling or a degenerate. When you have read these hastily scrawled pages, you may guess, though never fully realize, why it is that I must have forgetfulness or death.
Morphine entered into the use in the 19th century and was routinely administered to treat severe pain in the American Civil War, the 61s and 65s, and World War I, the 14th and 19th. It was also sold without restrictions until 1914. Okay, so everyone could buy morphine. Morphine became more popular after the invention of the hypodermic syringe around the 1854. Friedrich Schturner, I'm pronouncing that? Schturner, I think. It seems like a German name or something like that. Who first isolated the substance, originally named morphine. Well, it's close enough. After Morpheus, the Greek god associated with dreams. Oh, okay, I get that more than morphine now. I get it. Interesting. At the time when Dagon was published, morphine abuse, known as soldier's disease, already posed a big problem in the United States. That's right. Let's see. What else do we have? We have anything ended.
It was in one of the most open and least frequented parts of the broad Pacific that the packet of which I was supercargo fell a victim to the German sea raider.
Nothing on the ground. Space. Oh wait, there's. Okay, we have stars. Those three looks familiar. Are they randomly? They random stars? The night sky? Maybe. Yeah.
The Great War was then at its very beginning, and the ocean forces of the Hun had not completely sunk to their later degradation. So that our vessel was made a legitimate prize, whilst we of her crew were treated with all the fairness and consideration due us as naval prisoners.
Oh wait. Okay. To the water. We're gonna get a breaking. A Hun. Oh wait. The Huns. The Huns were Central Asian nomads who established a dominion in Europe and invaded the Roman Empire the 5th century AD. They were known as brutal, deadly warriors and masters of quick raids who also developed powerful composite bows, lassos, and early siege weapons. Oh, they were also so interesting. During World War One, the British used the word Hun as a synonym. I have never pronounced that word before. For Germans in order to emphasize their brutality. However, the term originated when the German Emperor Wilhelm II gave us a speech to his troops on the 27th July 1900s, before they embarked to China. Should you encounter the enemy, he will defeat it. No quarter will be given. Prisoners will not be taken. Whoever falls into your hands is forfeited. Just as 1,000 years ago the Huns under the King Attila made a name for themselves, one that even today makes them seem mighty in history and legend. May the name German be affirmed by you in such a way in China that no Chinese will ever again dare to look cross-eyed at a German. Their refusal to take prisoners was a clear breach of the laws and customs of war adopted during the First Hague Convention in the 1899. Yeah, crazy. Oh, wait, that's a song?
So liberal, indeed, was the discipline of our captors, that 5 days after we were taken, I managed to escape alone, in a small boat, with water and provisions for a good length of time.
Let's get out. Time to escape, boys! Wait, do we have? Okay, those are our provisions, so we can just...
When I finally found myself adrift and free, I had but little idea of my surroundings. Never a competent navigator, I could only guess vaguely by the sun and stars that I was somewhat south of the equator.
Being in a boat into the middle of the sea is one of my biggest fears, because it's just you don't see the sea is just so deep, and I cannot deal with it. Okay, yeah, I'm
Of
affected
the
by the sea.
longitude, I knew nothing, and no island or coastline was in sight.
Yeah, it's like just anything can come from the depths of the sea. That's one of my fears. Like, no, cannot. I cannot deal with the sea.
The weather kept fair, and for uncounted days I drifted aimlessly beneath the scorching sun, waiting either for some passing ship or to be cast on the shores of some habitable land.
So we are getting a nice December, but we shall escape. Oh wait, what? What did I? Okay. Oh, okay. Take some water.
But neither ship nor land appeared, and I began to despair in my solitude upon the heaving vastness of unbroken blue.
Well, we're going to survive into this vastness.
The change happened whilst I slept.
Oh no. What is happening?
Its details I shall never know.
Oh no.
For my slumber, though troubled and dream-infested, was continuous.
What are we going into? What the heck is all this? Yeah, I will be quite surprised about all the squids we have. Like, has to check this. Wait, is that? It has like crab in.
When
That
at last
one
I
is weird.
awoke, it was to discover myself half sucked into a slimy expanse of hellish black mire, which extended about me in monotonous undulations as far as I could see,
The hellish Black Maya.
and in which my boat lay grounded some distance away.
I see it.
Though one might well imagine that my first sensation would be of wonder at so prodigious and unexpected a transformation of scenery, I was in reality more horrified than astonished.
Yeah. I wouldn't imagine you being wondered. Everyone will be horrified by this scenario, like anytime.
For there was in the air, and in the rotting soil, a sinister quality which chilled me to the very core.
Yeah, I can smell it. Yeah, not quite nice.
The region was putrid with the carcasses of decaying fish, and of other, less describable things which I saw protruding from the nasty mud of the unending plain.
Yeah, I for sure, I'm getting goosebumps by all this.
Perhaps I should not hope to convey in mere words the unutterable hideousness that can dwell in absolute silence and barren immensity. There was nothing within hearing and nothing in sight save a vast reach of black slime. Yet the very completeness of the stillness and the homogeneity of the
I don't like
landscape oppressed me with a
that one in the background.
nauseating fear. The sun was blazing down from a sky which seemed to me almost black in its cloudless cruelty, as though reflecting the inky marsh beneath my feet.
Imagine if you could walk. Oh, is this a trilobite? The origins of Dagon. Dagon seems to be inspired by Fishhead, a short novel by Irving S. Cobb about unnatural affinities between a hybrid idiot and a strange fish of an isolated lake. Supernatural horror in literature. H.P. Lovecraft. And Lovecraft's dream about a strange island emerging from the ocean and him crawling in the ooze that covered its surface. I dream that the whole hideous crawl and can yet feel the ooze sucking me down. In defense of Dagon, H.P. Lovecraft. Oh, see, so he literally dreamed about this. Ugh. Yeah, that's not my kind of dream. Lovecraft's interest in the topic stemmed from his aversion to fish, sea smells in his own words. I have hated fish and feared the sea and feared the sea and everything connected with it since I was 2 years old, but I cannot recall what earlier experience gave me such a profound and lasting aversion to the sea and seafood. The Dweller in Darkness, Lovecraft, 1927, Donald Waldray. Yeah, I don't know. Wait, did the music stop? Okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't like the sea. I don't mind the sea, but I just don't like the how you can just how deep dark the sea is. You would imagine that that would be the same if you were in a space, but it's just in a space you have stars and planets and you have things to see because there's nothing blocking you. But when you see into the sea. When you see deep into the sea, there's nothing. There's just a black blue mist of nothing, and you cannot see anything. And that's when your mind starts like imagining stuff like this is what creates that fear. Your imagination starts thinking about stuff down into the sea, and this is what you imagine, and then you get horrified by life. In this case, Lovecraft was about squids. Ugh, the sound.
As I crawled into the stranded boat, I realized that only one theory could explain my position.
Okay. What is that? Oh, look at that one in the background. Ooh. I don't like that one.
Through some unprecedented volcanic upheaval, a portion of the ocean floor must have been thrown to the surface, exposing regions for which innumerable millions of years had lain hidden under unfathomable watery depths.
See? The water depths. And I do understand about the volcanic resurfacing, but I think it is too much.
So great was the extent of the new land which had risen beneath me that I could not detect the faintest noise of the surging ocean, straining my ears as I might.
Yeah. I don't think that this much can come from down the sea and just make a continent. This is as big as a continent. This is not an island. Because in an island, you can still hear the ocean.
Nor were there any seafowl to prey upon the dead things.
Yep. Only a squid. Do we have... That's another trilobite. Do we have any eldritch symbol? No? Die. No. I still don't like that one. But now is that in the background is messing me. Like, why is it moving like that? It's like one of these bigger ones, like just a super freaking ancient. There we go. The mystery of volcanic islands. Volcanic eruptions sometimes result in the creation of islands. Most of them are transient and erode after some time, but some prove permanent. Yeah, because yeah, the floating pumice porous rock created when superheated pressurized rock is ejected from a volcano. Pumice can move across long distances and transport barnacles and macroalgae that cling to it. In the 2001 rafts of pumice created during the eruption of the Gay volcano in Tonga, Polynesia, eventually reached Australia. Oh, interesting.
For several hours I sat thinking or brooding in the boat, which lay upon its side and afforded a
Ooh,
slight shade as the
ooh,
sun moved across the heavens.
ooh, the shadow. Ooh, the shadow. Ooh. No, no. Ooh, I don't like the shadow. No, no. What is? What was that in the shadow of the boat? No. Oh, with the light of the day, it's just even more horrible. I see that. No.
As the day progressed, the ground lost some of its stickiness and seemed likely to dry sufficiently for traveling purposes in a short time.
Mhm. Mhm.
That night I slept but little, and the next day I
Yeah,
made
I
for
wouldn't
myself a
either.
pack containing food and water, preparatory to an overland journey in search of the vanished sea and possible rescue.
No. Oh no. Hmm. Oh no, the goosebumps. Oh no, the goosebumps are about. I just I cannot talk. Oh no, 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 I cannot. Oh no, what are you? Why are those the same from that? Oh no. Oh, oh, oh. I'm out of words. I'm totally out of words. I cannot feel. Let's
On the third
just.
morning, I found the soil dry enough to walk upon with ease.
Mm.
The odor of the fish was maddening, but I was too much concerned with graver things to mind so slight an evil, and set out boldly for an unknown goal.
What is this? This tentacle or a squid? Yeah, squid. Like, doesn't seem to be under a squid. That's a fish. That for sure is a fish. One of these big fish that I don't remember the names. Have any Eldritch sign? No?
All day I forged steadily westward,
It's getting even
guided by a
worse.
faraway hummock which rose higher than any other elevation on the rolling desert.
Hmm. Yeah. No. What is this? What is all this? What are all these parts like? Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, that's that. Yeah. Hey son, can you fry me? You can you end my suffering? Wait, is this a whale? Give me a second. I'm scrolling my eyes. Okay, well, oh, this is a whale. It certainly is a whale. Hmm. Ooh. Yeah. So will I? Do you have anything for me to see? No.
That night I encamped, and on the following day still travelled toward the hummock, though that object seemed
Oh.
scarcely nearer than when I had first espied it.
Hmm. What is all this? Are these worms? Oh my god. All the,
By the fourth evening, I attained the base of the mound, which turned out to be much higher than it had appeared from a distance. An intervening valley setting it out in sharper relief from the general surface. Too weary to ascend, I slept in the shadow of the hill.
I hear. Ooh. Just thinking
I
about
know
doing
not
that.
why my dreams were so wild that night,
You, you don't know why?
but ere the waning and fantastically gibbous moon had risen far above the eastern plain, I was awake in a cold perspiration, determined to sleep no more.
Yeah.
Such visions as I had experienced were too much for me to endure again.
Oh yeah, I can just imagine the visions. I cannot even blink.
And in the glow of the moon I saw how unwise I had been to travel by day.
Unwise? Oh, because of the brightness of the moon during the night?
Without the glare of the parching sun, my journey would have cost me less energy.
Oh, of course. Yeah. That's yeah. Because you don't have to suffer from the heat. Oh, yeah. You're right.
Indeed, I now felt quite able to perform the ascent which had deterred me at sunset. Picking up my pack, I started for the crest of the eminence.
Wait, let me check for early signs. Oh, there we go. The loner. Contrary to popular opinion, Lovecraft was not an ever frowning, eccentric Grand Prix loner. He considered himself to be a person who appreciated humor. Moreover, he would often meet with friends in his apartment or at various cafes in Brooklyn and Manhattan. At times, his social life was so intensive his work would suffer for months. Oh, okay, so he was not that. Oh, okay, so the book didn't affect his life, more like the life affected his book. That's an interesting change. There was a point when he finally decided he needed to put an end to daily meetings and loitering in New York cafeterias, and resorted to hiding at home and reading with the main room light turned off, pretending he wasn't there whenever a friend knocked on his door. He also had another method of deterring his guests, which involved greeting them in a bathroom with an unmade bed visible in the background and piles of papers scattered across the floor. Okay, yeah, that's quite a story. He really tried a lot to keep focus on his book, huh? But he had quite the life, the social life, if he needed to do all that. Interesting.
I have said that the unbroken monotony of the rolling plain was a source of vague horror to me. But I think my horror was greater when I gained the summit of the mound and looked down the other side into an immeasurable pit or canyon,
Oh god. Here we go.
whose black recesses the moon had not yet soared high enough to
What
illumine.
where are we looking?
I felt myself on the edge of the world.
Ooh, I don't like to be on the edge. That's another fear of mine. Falling.
Peering over the rim into a fathomless
Ooh.
chaos of eternal night.
I'm so affected by this. You're doing a great job. Yeah, I'm Yeah, everyone did a great job, and I don't like it.
Through my terror ran curious reminiscences of Paradise Lost, and of Satan's hideous climb through the unfashioned realms of
Yeah,
darkness.
I can feel it.
As the moon climbed higher in the sky, I began to see that the slopes of the valley were not quite so perpendicular as I had imagined.
You think? Ooh. No. Where do we have an eldritch thing around? I don't think so. Unless it's in the sky.
Ledges and outcroppings of rock afforded fairly easy footholds for a descent.
Fairly easy.
Whilst after a drop of only a few hundred feet, the declivity became very gradual.
That's more like a hole. Yeah, I wanna cross going down. But here we are. Going down.
Urged on by an impulse which I cannot definitely analyze, I scrambled with difficulty down the rocks and stood on the gentler slope beneath.
Yeah, this is quite
gazing into the Stygian deeps, where no light had yet penetrated. All at once, my attention was captured by a vast and singular object on the opposite slope, which rose steeply about 100 yards ahead of me.
What is that?
An object that gleamed whitely in the newly bestowed rays of the ascending moon.
Yeah, I see, I noticed. Excuse me, while I'm looking for more eldritch sign. You don't mind? I like looking at those. They have quite an interesting information and distract me from this horrifying experience.
That it was merely a gigantic piece of stone, I soon assured myself.
Yeah, I see. Right. Imponent.
But I was conscious of a distinct impression that its contour and position were not altogether the work of nature.
Yep. A little bit too square to be nature. Nature doesn't like square things. Nature likes round. And more organic. Oh, did I double click? Oh no! I double click it. I missed the last line. Yeah, going.
For despite its enormous magnitude and its position in an abyss which had yawned at the bottom of the sea since the world was young, I perceived beyond a doubt that the strange object was a well-shaped monolith.
Yep.
Whose massive bulk had known the workmanship and perhaps the worship of living and thinking creatures.
And I don't... Oh, the music. Yeah.
Dazed and frightened, yet not without a certain thrill of the scientist's or archaeologist's delight, I examined my surroundings more closely.
We have to. I don't want to. Oh, save me.
The moon, now near the zenith, shone weirdly and vividly above the towering steeps that hemmed in the chasm.
What are those in?
And revealed the fact that a far-flung body of water flowed at the bottom, winding out of sight in both directions, and almost lapping my feet as I stood on the slope.
Yeah, I don't like that.
Across the chasm, the wavelets washed the base of the Cyclopean monolith. On whose surface I could now trace both inscriptions and crude sculptures.
I don't Yeah. Okay, I have a fear of this water body. I don't trust that water body in this situation. I can trust any water body, but not in this one. No, no, no. There's going to be something that is going to come out. You can be sure of it.
The writing was in a system of hieroglyphics unknown to me, and unlike anything I'd ever seen in books.
I mean, I can see the creatures of the sea.
Consisting for the most part of conventionalized aquatic symbols such as fishes, eels, octopi, crustaceans, mollusks,
Octopi.
whales, and the like. Several characters obviously represented marine things which are unknown to the modern world.
Yeah. The ones in the deep. Except for the one in the middle.
But whose decomposing forms I had observed on the ocean-risen plain. It was the pictorial carving, however, that did most to hold me spellbound.
Yeah. That's okay. Storytelling methods. Dagon contains many themed storytelling methods that Lovecraft developed in his later works, such as telling the story through carvings at the Mountains of Madness, the Nameless City, journals, and character notes. Yeah, that's good. Islands emerging from the ocean, the God of Chulu. Oh, wait, these are more than. Okay. It's more than one book or one more place or chapter of the book. Okay. Or fictional beings and deities based on real events and mythology, like the Whisper in Darkness. It's also considered the origin of the popular Chulu mythos. Some of Lovecraft's other stories also contain a manner similar to Dagon, but let's skip the details in order to not spoil the ending. Thank you, because I know nothing, and I don't like to be spoiled right now.
Plainly visible across the intervening water, on account of their enormous size, were an array of bas-reliefs whose subjects would have excited the envy of a doré. I
What
think
is a
that these
doré?
things were supposed to depict men, at least a certain sort of men.
Yeah.
Though the creatures were shown disporting like fishes in the waters of some marine grotto,
Yeah.
or paying homage at some monolithic shrine which appeared to be under the waves as well. Of their faces and forms I dare not speak in detail, for the mere remembrance makes me grow faint. Grotesque beyond the imagination of a Poe or a Bulwer.
Yeah, that's something that you don't try to depict to anyone. Nope. Nope.
They were damnably human in general.
Yeah,
outline,
damnably
despite
human.
their
Yeah,
hands and
that's the
feet,
word.
shockingly wide and flabby lips, glassy, bulging eyes, and other features less pleasant to recall. Curiously enough, they seem to have been chiseled badly out of proportion with their scenic background. For one of the creatures was shown in the act of killing a whale, represented as but little larger than himself.
Oh, wow. So they are as big as a whale. I don't. That's wonderful. If you could see my face right now, you will be understanding how did I say that word.
I remarked, as I say, their grotesqueness and strange size, but in a moment decided that they were merely the imaginary gods of some primitive fishing or seafaring tribe. Some tribe whose last descendant had perished eras before the first ancestor of the Piltdown or Neanderthal man was born.
Yeah, I wonder what happened to them. Or are they still alive?
Awestruck at this unexpected glimpse into a past beyond the conception of the most daring anthropologist, I stood musing whilst the moon cast queer reflections on the silent channel before me. Then, suddenly, I saw it.
What? 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 Oh no! What is that?
With only a slight churning to mark its rise to the surface,
No!
the thing slid into view above the dark
What is?
waters.
No, no, no! What is coming? What is coming? No! What is coming? Oh my god!
Loathsome, it darted like a stupendous monster of nightmares to the
Oh,
valley,
what is that?
about which it flung its gigantic scales,
Oh jeez!
while it bowed its hideous head and gave vent to certain measured sounds.
Oh jeez! What is happening? What is happening? What is happening?
I think I went mad then.
Did you think you went mad? I'm going crazy over here.
Of my frantic ascent of the sloping cliff and of my delirious journey back to the stranded boat, I remember little.
I wouldn't remember neither. Anything like, whoa! Look at how everyone is looking. Like, how I cannot. Can I even? No, there's nothing. No, just oh.
I believe I sang a great deal and laughed oddly when I was unable to sing.
What? You definitely went crazy. Like, yeah, well, yeah. When you see something like that, you will. Yeah, I will be. I will be going crazy too. Like, come on, just like you know. Yeah, I'm out of word now.
I have indistinct recollections of a great storm sometime after I reached the boat.
Oh. Oh, so everything is dead now, like all the squids and everything is dead. Yeah.
At any rate, I know
Oh,
that
we're
I
back
heard
to the boat.
bells of thunder and other tones which nature utters only in her wildest moods.
I can barely hear the voice. Can I check the music? Voiceovers? No, I cannot, well, let's just, yeah, go with it all. There we go.
When I came out of the shadows, I was in a San Francisco hospital. Brought thither by the captain of the American ship which had picked up my boat in mid-ocean. In my delirium, I had said much, but found that my words had been given scant attention.
Sure.
Of any land upheaval in the Pacific, my rescuers knew nothing. Nor did I deem it necessary to insist upon a thing which I knew they could not believe.
Yeah, the thing that came from the water. Yeah, I knew it was coming. I still got me by surprise. The journalist. Lovecraft was a prominent figure in the world of amateur journalism. In 1950, he started publishing his own journal called The Conservative, which included political and social commentary. Yeah, if you call it conservative, that's what I will call it. Poetry, short stories, and literary criticism were written by him and other authors. Power was a skill wordsmith, but he also took criticism to heart, which resulted in his decision to step away from writing poetry and concentrate on queer fiction again. For the first time since his teenage years, Dagon, published in 1970s, is one of the short stories written during that period. In this example excerpt from The Conservative, the master of horror fiction explains his attitude towards warfare and the idea of world peace. Why any sane human being can believe in the possibility of universal peace is more than conservative can and the conservative can fathom. Should the entire civilized world agree simultaneously to disarm one or more nations, will undoubtedly, undoubtedly, oh, come on. Retain secret armaments and at the proper time, take advantage of the proper altruistic and less astute contemporaries in a wild career of contest against unarmed bandits. No country is or ever can be above warfare until the basic impulse of the human animal shall have miraculously changed. That is true. I won't say anything more. Just that is true. Everyone should read more about the journals that he made. Ooh, what do we have here? In Defense of Dagon. In 1921, Lovecraft released a series of 3 essays. The Defense Reopens, The Defense Remains Open, and Final Words. Later published as a collection titled In Defense of Dagon, in which he rebuked a series of criticism directed at his works in some notable quotes. I paint what I dream, and I will let the public settle the rest among themselves. That's yeah, that's a good way to do it. Mr. Monday asked the recent history of Dagon. I will give it, purely and simply to reproduce a mood. Its subject is the simplest all art portrayal. True, that's good. The physical horrors of war, no matter how extreme and unprecedented, hardly have a bearing on the entirely different realm of supernatural terror. Ghosts are still ghosts. The mind can get more thrills from unrealities than from realities. That's quite true, actually. In the essays, Lovecraft touches upon the topics of atheism, materialism, and the quest, the quest for the truth, and the love of science. That's quite a matchup, actually. If he did it right, I know why now. Why he was his stories were good. Let's open the door.
Once I sought out a celebrated ethnologist and amused him with peculiar questions regarding the ancient Philistine legend of Dagon, the fish god.
Hmm. Nice columns. Wait. Oh, okay. Dagon. Dagon was the main deity of the Philistines, worshipped throughout the Middle East as the ancient god of fertility and crops. In Hebrew, the word Dagon was more common noun for grain. The rulers of Akkad, Mesopotamia, chose him as the patron saint of their war conquest. So that's kind of twist. He also appeared as a judge of the dead in an Assyrian poem and an underworld prison warder, one of the Babylonian tests. Oh, Dagon has work. He is often mistakenly taken for a fish god due to the wrong interpretation of his name, as in Hebrew the word dag means fish. In H.P. Lovecraft's works, Dagon is an underwater deity ruling over the sea humans, a humanoid race with fish traits that resides in the ocean. He is worshipped by a secret cult called the Esoteric Order of Dagon. Interesting. Shall we?
but soon perceiving that he was hopelessly conventional, I did not press my inquiries.
The Necronomicon. Oh, we are going places. August III and the Tulu Mythos. August III was an American writer and anthologist. He also befriended Lovecraft and published many of his works through his company, Arkham House. Hey, Arkham, nice! Although he greatly contributed to the popularization of the other works after his death, he is surrounded by numerous controversies. One of his most questionable decisions involved introducing the good versus evil doctrine. Sherlock was a devout Catholic. Ah, I can see the conflict. 2. The Tulu Mythos, which contrasted with Lovecraft's view of the world and his approach to cosmic horror as a result. The author's work are often misunderstood and misrepresented in today's culture. Yeah, I mean, we use the image and the ideas of his cosmic horror for other purposes, like in Skyrim, one of the DLCs. It is also worth noticing that Lovecraft was never really interested in creating a mythology. The term Tulu Mythos was coined by Derlet after the author left the moral plane. Oh, interesting. Quite a change. What do we have here? The Marketeer. Lovecraft's attempts to find a job in 1925 were influenced by the advice he received from friends. Among others, he started freelancing for a marketing magazine, where he would write announcements and commercials. Feel free to judge his copywriting skills for yourself. For an ad for Curtis Woodward. Curtis Woodward embraced both the usual structural units and the cleverest contrivances of built-in and permanent furniture, such as bookcases, dressers, buffets, and cupboards. Every model is conceived and created with the purest art, deepest scholarships, and mellowest craftsmanship which an energetic enterprise can command, and made to conform rigidly to the architecture of each particular type of home. The cost, considering the quality, is amazingly low, and a trademark on the individual pieces prevents any substitution by careless contractors. I'm quite amazed by how I read that. Actually, I'm sources. Lovecraft Studies, Volume 7, Number 1, H.P. Lovecraft's S.D. Joshi. Nice. Where should we look? Have anything? There's just a chair in the. Why there's a chair in the corner of the room? I wouldn't put a chair in the corner of the room. I would put like a plant in the corner. And we light the candles? No, it's barely. We have. Can actually. Oh. And okay, that's the where. Which. Okay, there's nothing more, right? Because that was the Eldritch, and that was. Hmm? Wait, so we are just moving around? No dialogue or anything? Oh, scientists. These days, the word scientist is widely accepted term, but at the time Dagon was published, it was subject to a wide debate. Was it? Oh. After the author used it in the story, critics pointed out that the man of science was a more appropriate term to employ. What the heck? Were people stupid at that time? He admitted in defense of Dagon that if Dagon were to be reprinted, he would use the phrase that they suggested. Scientist was going as analog of artists. And what's the problem? To be used when referring to those studying different branches of science. Yet in the 19th and early 20th century, scientific researchers in Great Britain and the United States were of the opinion that man of science, resembling the term man of letters, was the only proper choice, among other things. It was gender specific, indicating that science was an endeavor to be pursued by only one sex. Oh my god, they are just brainless. The term scientist became more accepted only after World War II, and man of science started fading into obscurity as an old-fashioned synonym. Oh gosh, thank God we don't use man of science. That just seems so stupid. Didn't I? Like, what? Are they sounding because I'm doing something or what?
It is at night, especially when the moon is gibbous and waning, that I see the thing.
Oh, what thing? What thing?
I tried morphine,
Oh?
but the drug has given only transient surcease, and has drawn me into its clutches as a hopeless slave.
Oh no. Have we added to the morphine?
So now I am to end it all, having written a full account for the information or the contemptuous amusement of my fellow men.
Lovecraft on tobacco and alcohol. Lovecraft hated tobacco. Thank you. I hate it too. Even though he used to smoke when he was 12, I don't smoke. In order to look and feel like an adult. In his correspondence with friend Reinhard Kleiner, he claims that he quit as soon as he started wearing long pants. So that wasn't that far into the future. He also had a very strong opinion about alcohol, as evidenced by his letter to Ciela Brown, dated 13 February 1928. As for the matter of drinking, I have never tasted intoxicating liquor, and never intend to, having a strong aesthetic disgust at anything which blunts or coarsens the delicate natural repose of the evolved human intellect and imagination. Nice! Drinking excited my personal repugnance, hence I don't drink. Let the herd do what they will, and I'm writing in favor of prohibition, the prohibition of any one antisocial form, as well as any other, as of any other. You try to tell that to someone that drinks, and he will just tell you that you are high. Okay, we are back into this room, but I think there is else. Let's continue.
Often, I ask myself if it could not all have been a pure phantasm,
Yeah.
a mere freak of fever as I lay sun-stricken and raving in the open boat after my escape from the German man of war.
Yeah. I mean, that can happen.
This I ask myself, but ever does there come before me a hideously vivid vision in reply. I cannot think of the deep sea without shuddering at the nameless things that may at this very moment be crawling and floundering on its slimy bed, worshipping their ancient stone idols and carving their own detestable likenesses on submarine obelisks of water-soaked granite. I dream of a day when they may rise above the billows to drag down into their reeking talons the remnants of puny, war-exhausted mankind. Of a day when the land shall sink and the dark ocean shall ascend amidst universal pandemonium.
God, no. Yeah, universal pandemonium. Yeah, just. Oh no. Ooh. You're crazy, man.
The end is near.
What is happening? What is happening? No, no. What is that sound? What is that sound? Oh no, no.
I hear a noise at the door, as of some immense slippery body lumbering against it.
No, 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 no. Oh God.
It shall not find me.
He already did. Or whatever it is. Oh God, no.
God, that hand.
Oh no. No, 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 no.
The window.
The window, the window, the window. Go to the window. Oh. Did he just kill himself? We hope you enjoy immersing yourself in our little pool of cosmic. We will appreciate if you took a moment to rate Dagon and check out our other games and DLC. I mean, I did enjoy knowing more about it, about H.P. Lovecraft, because I know nothing. And I did enjoy, I mean, I was quite horrified. Is that what you call, is that what you can call enjoying? But yeah, I did enjoy. The Eldritch Boss, we will be checking these ones maybe into the future. I will definitely be checking them. You thank me for playing, I thank you for making this. I love the design. Maybe that's original from the book, and if it's not, it's beautiful. Well, there you have it. That was Dagon by H.P. Lovecraft. I hope everyone enjoyed just as much as I did. And was horrified just as much as I was. So I hope we can get more of the DLCs so we can continue playing a little bit more of H.P. Lovecraft into the future. But that will be up to the future and if there's enough interest in doing so. But I quite love a lot the Dagon by H.P. Lovecraft. I'm quite repeating myself, so let's leave it at that. So thank you, and I hope that we can see Dagon in more in the future. Let's just check